And I'm Eric Menarez.
And you're watching Fantasy Football Red Zone. Hey guys, it's been a while. It's been a couple weeks since we last spoke with you guys. We missed you.
Yeah. Hey, this is fun to do. We miss it. You know, it's hard, but it's fun.
We just had some technical difficulties, but that had us out 2 weeks. But we're back at it. Gonna be giving you the episodes and all the information you need. So sorry, I couldn't sleep while we were gone, and it was tough. But all right.
I've looked at stuff. I'm like, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And it's just
exactly.
But
all right, so let's get started. We have 3 segments for you as usual during the regular season, starting off with Classic and Classified. Classic information for those of you who are in your first or second year. These are the do's and don'ts that you must know in order to be a fantasy football player, a successful one. And then Classified information, this is more information for our veterans. This is information that the experts are not telling you in order for them to keep an edge in their own leagues. And this is probably what you need in order to take your league to the next level.
Yeah, and we have Red Zone Pursuit, players to avoid, players to look out for, and this is the part, and we'll give you these updates so you can add up, all these points up, get your wins, get your championships.
Get in the red zone.
Add those points up. And then third, we have the script.
Yep.
So, how to buy low, buy high on players, just good things to help you out, to improve your trades, to benefit your team.
Yeah, so without further ado, welcome to Fantasy Football Red Zone.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to kick you off with Classic and Classified, and we're going to talk about list. So a couple of you have heard me mention before that there's all sorts of lists that you can be setting up on your league settings in order to look at stuff. So the classic information is that most people look at lists and they think, just see who's available, and they might even take it as far as like, well, let me look at what from the available players, let me sort it by projections for the following week. Well, the classified information is that we want you guys to really pay attention to how many lists there are that you can really sort. So whether you're doing your leagues through NFL or ESPN or Yahoo or CBS, any of those, take a look at those tools. We encourage you guys to toy with the different lists. There's common lists like for a projection for the following week. There's lists like opponents, so that you can see out of all the players that are available who they're facing in the next couple of weeks and when those bye weeks are coming up for the players that you're picking up. Research, where it'll just have some information on those players, and then you can even click on like all players taken, so that you can see all the players that are taken by your teammates, and then see their opponents and see when they're going to have a bye week, so that when they're going to be benching their quarterback because it's a bye week, and you know how to position that trade or snag a player from the free agency before they grab them. All sorts of things that you can do there, and those lists can really work to your advantage.
Just a quick thing, heads up. Most of this stuff, like for instance, if you use Yahoo, which is more common for some people that we know, you have to do it on a computer. It won't let you do your phone or maybe like an application thing.
Yeah.
Do it on your computer, and it's there. You have an abundance of tools to be able to use. The Angel's talking about. Like,
exactly. We're thinking that we want you to make sure that you spend some time on the computer looking at some of these lists and doing these things. But you can actually even most of your phones will allow you to just go on the browser and just view the desktop version. So if you're pretty tech savvy, you know how to work that out, then do it on there, and you can still look at lists. And then always sorted by fantasy points, so you can see what they've put up. Click on that. So there's a lot of stuff you can do there. So keep that in mind. Spend some time playing with those lists. Next, opponent rankings. This is something that, again, the classic information is that people will just think, I got to pay attention to my opponent rankings. And when we say opponent, we're talking about the team that your player is facing. Yeah. So if you have a running back going against the Seattle defense, and it says something like, this is a defense that gives the fewest amount of points to running backs. So that's a classic thought. Pay attention to that. But classified is, hey, don't really pay attention to that in the beginning of the season. And the reason being is because in the beginning of the season, a defense can have like a great week the first opening week and then a bad week the following week. And it's
Miami.
Yeah. And then it's very volatile. It goes up and down. So there's a lot of things that, can be misleading in the first couple weeks when you're looking at, oh man, I shouldn't start this player. He's playing against this defense. Or man, I should start this player. He wasn't one of my starters, but he's going to face such an easy team. Well, that might not necessarily be the case. Pay attention to it more halfway through a season, towards the end of the season. You could still look at it now, of course, but all we're saying is it's going to have more weight as the season progresses, and there's more evidence that those defenses are who they really say they are.
Yeah, but we're saying like by week 8, a defense should have a good sample size of plenty of teams, different types, more run offense, more teams that run more, throw more, or good tight ends. Like, then you can kind of measure who's good at what.
Exactly.
So expect by week 8, week 7, to get a good sample size, and there you can start following.
That's when it matters. All right, so next, we're just gonna give you some Twitter. We're just want to throw that out there. A lot of people don't. The classified information is that a lot of people don't realize. It's right in your face, but you can go to Twitter for so many updates. If you just go to Twitter and you follow some of the NFL guys or some of the guys that are following all the latest, injuries and all that stuff, like Ian Rappaport, and then you can get information a lot sooner than you would on Yahoo or any of those other sources. So make sure that we encourage you to jump on Twitter and start following some of those guys. You're gonna have updates before anyone else.
Yeah, football season is actually the only time I ever use my Twitter. Like the only time.
There you go. And then lastly, this is a strategy that some people like to implement. It's a blank lineup where it's basically you don't have anyone starting. When you're facing your opponent, you bench all your players so that they can't see your projection. They can't see your lineup. They don't know what you're thinking, how you're going to play against them. And then before this game starts on Sunday, they put their lineups, or before on Thursday, whenever the case is, they start their players, and so that way it's last minute and the person doesn't really get to prepare. This I only recommend it for people who are constantly on their fantasy, managing their teams, because you can forget to put your lineup. If you're not that type of person that's gonna be constantly on it, then don't do it.
Yeah, you have to love fantasy football.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah. So other than that, I wouldn't recommend this strategy for anyone else. And even then, this strategy is a huge deal. It's a make or break, but it's a cool thing that some people do to get in their opponent's head, kind of mess with them, a mental game, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, if you know your opponent, you think it might work on them, try it on them. It works for some people, not for everybody. But like I say, make sure, keep track of your team.
Yeah. All right.
I'm on it. I wouldn't do it, but he does, and it worked for him. Yeah. So, hey, if it works for you, something you can use.
All right. So, Red Zone Pursuit. Moving on now.
Yeah. All right, guys. So, Red Zone Pursuit. All right, we should have something right here. So, all right. So, these are guys to buy low on. Guys with high upside for you guys, but you can probably get cheap. All right. So, these guys we want you to go after. Todd Gurley, Rams running back. All right, you might have seen him play this weekend. He did pretty well for the last quarter. Yeah. And, he looked like he was supposed to be the best rookie running back and possibly the next AP, they say. Yeah. So, AP, Adrian Peterson. And, so the guy's a lot of upside. Hopefully, depending on how invested your league mate is, you can probably get him cheap. Yeah. Next, C.J. Anderson, right? Yeah. This is kind of an odd one, a risky one. I almost didn't even think about recommending this one. Yeah. But reason being is Ronnie Hillman, the guy who's doing a lot better than him. Yeah. Is not built like your typical NFL running back. Not a
workhorse.
Yeah. That's what teams want. A guy that they can depend on, give 30 carries to run up the middle. Ronnie Hillman's a smaller framed guy. He's not that type of guy. He's more of like a Danny Woodhead. Right. Sproles, more of a guy small but quick. You can pass it to and he can do great things with. But they need a workhorse. And that's why CJ still stays there, and he has the upside of being there. And if anything happens to Ronnie Hillman, surely CJ's numbers would be a lot higher. He should still get the goal lines. He's the bigger running back. Yeah. So the owners are frustrated. If you get him for cheap, you can have good upside. Carlos Hyde, another guy. The Niners passing game has not been that great, so they've been stacking the boxes. This is another very talented running back. Yeah. All right. Week 1 was not a fluke. He was underestimated. Yeah. And now he's not. Now they're stacking the box against him, making it harder. This is still another guy whose stat line has not been great the last 3 weeks. So your league mates, they might be up to trading him. Yeah. But buy low. Foster, Arian Foster, right? This guy was one of the top running backs. He had an injury. He's coming back. He's a little bit injury prone, so there is that risk. But he has a lot of upside. He's the easiest schedule of all the running backs. So
that's important to know.
Yeah. So another guy to look out for. Lamar Miller. All right, is another one that's Lamar. Why Lamar Miller? All right, his coach
Joe Philbin is gone.
Yep, fired, gone. Thank you. Now they're gonna learn how to run the ball, okay? Because they've been passing the ball like 90% of the time. 90. That's not effective in football. Not in the NFL. All right, maybe Madden. I could do that in Madden, like, okay? But not in the NFL. It's bad. He needs goal line. He needs goal line carries. So this should benefit him in that fashion. It's gonna change. What they've been doing is gonna change. So hopefully it affects him. And you bought low.
Yeah.
Wide receivers. Brandon Cooks. All right, he's not been the impressive, wide receiver that we thought he'd be. Everybody thought he'd be. With Drew Brees as your quarterback.
Right.
Brees is back. We expect
he's looking better.
Yeah. We expect Cooks to eventually curve up. That's going to curve up. Des Bryant should be coming back pretty soon. So I'm saying maybe week 7.
Yeah.
A little early. I always try to add one more week to whenever somebody says when they're going to come back. But that's still, if you have to spend too much, and you can weather the storm of whatever you traded without him for 2-3 weeks. Man, that guy is a first-round pick. Yep. Top wide receiver. Romo should be coming back eventually. And the playoffs matter. That's what we look at, the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Because red zone, we want to score, we want points.
Right.
So, next, Alshon Jeffrey from Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Wide receiver. He's been missing some time. But, man, this guy has upside. This guy has a lot of upside. He had a week off. So, remember, buy low. Cutler's back. So this is his #1 target. I remember when Marshall went down last year, this guy's his numbers went up, skyrocketed. So Jordan Matthews, Eagles, the offense a little bit sporadic, but expect his chemistry with Sam Bradford to get better.
That's right.
Or let's say he gets hurt. Mark Sanchez, that was his go-to guy last year. He was producing last year. So there we go. And then Martavius Bryant, right? Steelers don't expect too much while Big Ben's gone, but Big Ben should be coming back soon. And that's gonna boost up his numbers. So remember these guys. Buy low, guys. Buy low. Sell high. Colts. Andrew Luck. Separated shoulder.
On his throwing arm.
Yeah, so that's going to hurt the receivers. It might stack on Frank Gore. So sell high if you can for the moment right now. We're not sure how it looks like, but for the moment, it doesn't look good. Yeah. Sell high on Freeman. Devontae Freeman. So this guy is another guy. It's just he's been doing on a crazy streak. 3 touchdowns, back to back. Yeah. And he can't keep that up. Yeah. He can't keep that up. It's not going to happen. Yeah. So high on something that you use right now. Yeah. And going forward. Yeah. But yeah. So, agreed. That's it for Red Zone Pursuit, guys.
That's it. That was a lot.
that was a lot.
We got a lot of information for you. Now moving on to the script.
Yeah, script, guys. So for script, we have, all right, Tuesday comes up, you set up your new lineup. Don't set up your new lineup. Not yet. Surely there's a player in your RB2 spot, wide receiver 2 spot, your flex that you want to bench. Take the opportunity to trade him. You want whoever you're trading with to be like, I'm getting a starter for my starter. Not I'm getting a bench guy, his bench for my starter. Right. So if he's already in your starting lineup, keep him there. Let people see it and have confidence. Show confidence in your player so they can believe it and they want to buy it.
Yeah, and the thing is that every time you make a trade offer, people are always going to look at your team to see who you have, if they can get someone better from you, and they're going to look at the starters. So if the guy you're trading is on your bench, they're going to be nitpicking and trying to scout someone out from your starters. If you already have them on your starters, then they're going to, it's that whole illusion, it creates that, all right, well, I'm getting a starter, like Eric's saying here.
So I have a guy like that, I'm going to leave him there, I'm going to try to trade him, so works, guys. Yeah. Try it.
So don't forget how important script is, how important trading is, and prepare each week to make the trades that you need in order to adjust your team. All right, guys. So in closing, as always, email us at fantasyfootballrz@gmail.com. We've been receiving a couple different emails from you guys asking about your leagues, about even daily fantasy. You've been giving me some information, so we appreciate it.
We're going to try to get back. Something's hard a little bit, timely, but we forget. Sorry.
So also follow us on Twitter.
FF Redzone 15.
Yep. Right. And then YouTube, subscribe on the button below. And make sure you're watching us with every episode that comes out. So this is Fantasy Football Red Zone, the YouTube channel we've all been waiting for, with all the information you need.
For what you need.
That's right.